Welcome to Nalla Narasimha Reddy Education Society's group of institutions, Integrated Campus, Hyderabad, Structural Engineering, RCC. I'm Dr. A. Mahesh Babu, Professor, Department of Civil Engineering. In last videos, we discussed about wind loads and snow loads. Snow loads. What are the snow loads? Generally, these loads will affect the structure where snowfall is very common, just like Himalayas, hilly areas. According to regions, the buildings which are located in the regions where snowfall is very common are to be designed as per code IS 875 part 4 that deals with snow loads on the roof of the buildings, right? See here, what you observe now, IS 875, what is that? That is related to your loads. What are the loads will act on the structure? Dead load, live load, snow load, wind load. Say IS 87 part 1, dead load related. IS 875 part 2, live load. IS 87 part 3 is related to wind loads. And similarly, IS 875 part 4 is related to snow loads. Okay. One more important topic is here you will have earthquake load also. We'll see in coming topic. The minimum design snow load on a roof or any other area above the ground is subjected to snow accumulation is obtained by the snow load on the ground. This snow load, what is the snow load on the ground? Generally, this coefficient is denoted by I dash. I is applicable to the particular roof area considered. Just this is for information. We don't have designs as per this load, but you should know what is the minimum design snow load. Where S is the design snow load, that is PA Pascal, okay, on plane area of roof. 1 PA means 1 Newton per meter square. This unit you should remember. I dash is shape coefficient, that is a code book, and S is ground snow load. These are considered in the design of snow loads. Okay. Now, one more important topic, earthquake loads, where it is a emerging area and very important topic, earthquake loads. Okay. So based on this earthquake loads, the design is different. But here we have only RCC buildings, just G+1, G+2 building designs in our curriculum. But this you should know, this is very important topic, and most of the questions from the earthquake loads will get in your competitive examination. So we look at earthquake loads, what is the code book? We used IS 1893 2002 Part 1, that is General Provisions for Buildings. See, you know, first one is we studied RCC book IS 456. For loads, IS 875. Similarly, for earthquake loads, 1893. So you remember, this is very important. Total seismic zones in the world are divided into 5 zones, but in India, divided 4 seismic zones. One zone is not anywhere in India. So basically, how many zones India divided? 4 zones. See, in NPTEL exams, GATE exams, your competitive exams, question: how many zones, seismic zones, have been divided in the India? See, 4 seismic zones are divided in India. This is one of the important point. The code gives recommendation for earthquake resistant design structures. Now it is mandatory to follow these recommendations for design of structures. This is important nowadays. According to zone, we have to not only design, drawing, also bending, bar bending schedule also is different from your ordinary RCC building designs. This code gives those recommendations to resist design of structures, and it is mandatory to follow those recommendations in design of structures. See, earthquake load take place due to the inertia force produced in the building because of seismic excisions. Inertia force varies with mass. See, earthquake load takes. What will happen if earthquake loads comes? See, earth will move, earth will shake, so that the structure in that area where earthquake will occur will undergo internal forces, inertia force. So there are earthquake loads developed due to inertia force produced due to seismic conditions, and this inertia force varies with mass. See, according to structure, for small structure is different, big structure is different. So suppose wooden structures, steel structures, RCC structures, according to your mass, your inertia force varies. Okay, you remember, if weight is more, okay, see, suppose if you take weight, okay, and the difference inertia force will be more. Okay, see, suppose this is a weight. I'm showing this is a weight. This will have more effect than your, suppose this is a ordinary one paper, okay, where weight is less. The inertia force varies. Okay, the higher mass of structure will imply that earthquake loading will also be high. See, obviously, whenever there is a change in the position of the structure from the ground level, foundation level, what will happen? According to your loading, if high mass structures will definitely, they will move more. The earthquake loading will be also be high. When the earthquake load exceeds the moment of resistance offered by the element, then the structure will be break or damage. Now, in coming topics, we are going to learn how to design the structure to the moment of resistance. You know, difference between bending moment and moment of resistance. I think you studied SO in SOM. See, there is a difference. Moment of resistance means the resistance of the moment of resistance. It is the resistance of the structure itself. Of the any structure itself, it will resist the moment. Bending moment that act by load. Say, for example, simply supported beam with uniform load. What is bending moment? WL squared by 8. I will explain in detail in coming topics, but for just you understand. So whenever the earthquake load exceeds the moment of resistance offered by the element, then structure will damage, will break, it will failure will occur. So the magnitude of earthquake loading depend upon the weight of the mass building, dynamic properties of the building, and difference in stiffness of adjacent floors, along with the intensity and duration of the earthquake. What is the intensity of the and the duration of the earthquake? We know intensity vary. Many times you observe in news, and what is the intensity they will mention you, and what is the time they will mention you. So this magnitude of earthquake loading depend upon the weight or mass of the building, dynamic properties of the building, and difference in stiffness of adjacent floors, along with the intensity and duration of the earthquake load. We will see some more topics in the next class. Thank you.